Hello, I'm Darren Magee, and the topic for today's video comes from a question asking if I would discuss the Myers-Briggs personality type known as the INFJ. Now, this is the rarest of the 16 Myers-Briggs personality types, apparently occurring in only 2% of the population. And it is quite a complex personality type, so I'm going to look at just some of the common characteristics associated with being an INFJ, and I'm going to look at some of the strengths and struggles associated with those characteristics. So the acronym INFJ stands for introversion, intuitive, feeling, and judging. This personality type is often referred to as the Counsellor. And people with this personality type tend to be serious, logical, compassionate. They are loyal and they are hardworking. They have a strong moral compass and tend to make decisions based on both logic and emotion. Let's look closer at some of those common characteristics. First of all, they are genuinely interested in others. They can see potential in others and often try to bring it out in them. They can be quite encouraging. They value close connections with others, but they are introverted, so can only really be truly emotionally intimate with those that they love, those who love them, such as soulmates, family members, really close friends. They are also very considerate and highly skilled at reading people, reading their moods, their motivations, and can be quite tuned in to other people's needs. But they're also quite intuitive. They recognize that not everyone has the same compassion they have. They often recognize when others are only being nice. But they can also be sensitive. They feel hurt easily, so they can be cautious with others. Secondly, they're private people. They can be difficult to get to know, and because they do hurt easily, they can find it difficult to feel vulnerable with others. Many INFJs tend to be independent, self-sufficient, so they rarely ask for advice, help, or support. They tend not to share more about themselves than they have to with others. So they may show concern and interest in others, but not necessarily share their own difficulties. And being introverted, they have a tendency to close themselves off from others at times. For example, maybe at a social gathering with little or no explanation, they might just leave. As much as they care about others, they also value their own time and their own space. Sometimes they feel emotionally drained, so they need that time to recharge. Thirdly, they are authentic with their feelings. When they feel passionately about something, they will pour their all into it. When they fall for someone, they will be both loyal and devoted. They generally don't exaggerate for attention or pretend something just to fit in to be accepted. If they're not interested in something, then they're not interested. Now, they can still be polite. For instance, if someone is feeling really excited about something that they have no interest in, well, they'll be happy for that person, but they're not going to pretend to feel excited as well. So there is both honesty and authenticity. Number four, they dislike conflict. They can lack assertiveness and are not aggressive, so they tend to avoid conflict whenever they can. They can feel devalued very easily, especially if they're being criticized harshly. If they're insulted or if they're interrupted, they tend to just stay quiet. Where there is contention, they tend to prefer the role of peacemaker rather than adversary. Now, that being said, they do have a strong sense of integrity and can assert themselves, engage in conflict. If they have to stand up for something important to them, such as a cause they're passionate about, or their values or their beliefs. And when they stand up for themselves, they tend to use evidence and strong logic to back up their position. They don't resort to insults and threats. Number five, at work they can be very well organized and quite driven. They can also be very competitive and enjoy projects which prove to be challenging. They're also very creative by nature, so are good at finding solutions. They're conscientious and good at implementing ideas. They can also be perfectionists. Now, they are gracious winners, but if things don't work out well for them, if they fail at something or someone beats them, they aren't necessarily sore losers, but they are really hard on themselves. They can judge themselves quite harshly. Number six, INFJs are idealistic, but they don't just daydream, they are doers. They practice what they preach. They are guided by personal values and ethics, and they're more interested in the greater good than personal gain. They are motivated by positive action, and sometimes they get involved in organizations or causes that aim to improve things for others. They see success as being a force for good in the world. They are articulate, good listeners, and can debate with others quite well. They can see both sides of an argument and try to reason with them. Unfortunately, if they're involved in a cause or a group or a movement that attracts extremist types, those who just want to dominate for personal gain or just want to burn the world down, it's their voices that are often drowned out. And lastly, number 7, being idealistic and action oriented, having a balance of both emotion and logic, they are purposeful and often solution focused. And as much as they're introverted, they do appreciate and enjoy collaboration and teamwork. INFJs can be resourceful and thrive in areas where they get to be creative, especially areas that align with their values. But not liking conflict or criticism and sometimes lacking assertiveness, they don't do well where their ideas are stifled or where there is envy and sabotage from others. So, to summarize, INFJs are warm, supportive, and considerate. They are good communicators, they have integrity and value honesty. They're both caring and compassionate, but they can be sensitive to criticism, lack assertiveness. They have high standards to the point of being perfectionists and tend to judge themselves quite harshly. They tend to be more forgiving of others than of themselves. They can take a while to get to know someone or for someone to get to know them, but whenever they do, they are honest and genuine. They don't do so well in workplaces that are chaotic, badly organized, and full of conflict, but they do like careers where they get to help others, bring out the best in others, such as coaching, teaching, nursing, mental health, and so on. They take their relationships seriously, they are loyal, and they work hard at them. They are tuned into and pay attention to the needs of their partners, their children, those they care about deeply, and often put their well being before their own. They seek partners who are honest, have insight and integrity. They thrive in relationships where they can grow as individuals and as a couple, as a family unit. So that's a brief outline of the INFJ personality type, known as the Counsellor, according to Myers-Briggs. Now, as always, please feel free to use the comment box to add anything I might have missed. There are always some interesting conversations start around these videos. But if you find this video interesting, please consider subscribing to my channel, and until next time, thanks for watching. Now, whether or not you agree with the Myers-Briggs personality types, just in case anybody's curious, when I was researching this, I took an online test to see what my personality type would be. Apparently, I am an INFP-T. Now, that stands for introversion, intuition, feeling, and perception. The T stands for turbulent. And this personality is known as the mediator. Now, I find that kind of curious because I used to be a mediator. I used to work in mediation, working in conflict resolution many years ago. So who knows? Maybe there's something in it.